Hello. Yes, that suspiciously armor-shaped pauldron that is peeking out behind the wall. Hi. It's me. I'm gonna address the wet cat in the room. It's me. I'm the wet cat. I've been sick for the past week, so apologies for the voice. Now that we've got that out of the way, I'm a bit unsure of what to build next. I mean, there's a lot if we were to move the camera to the right, which we can do. There is a lot we could technically build. It's just, well, I don't know what to start with. Not necessarily due to a lack of ideas, because, well, we've just established there is a lot. There is very much a bottomless well, an ever-sprouting spring, if you will, of ideas, but there's just a bit of a lack of cohesion. There's no nicely laid out red thread to connect everything, which is also why I've not really felt up to a bigger project. So rather than continuing to watch grass grow and continuing to watch me run around in this and just shake my hat at a camera and try to figure out the inverted controls here, how about we instead look at the plethora of so far unused clips that are very much still collecting dust on my hard drive. Surely a little spring cleaning will air out the brain and crank up the cogs to hopefully be a little creative. You know, we can just pretend it's a character arc, but with the fun and light-hearted flair of a filler beach episode. If the beach episode took place during winter with everybody being sick. Also, I have an idea. We still need a name for this kitty cat. I am currently being a wet cat. I think I know what to name it. To the salon, and by salon I mean to the workbench and anvil, so we can rename a name tag. I am not gonna lie, this sounds a lot funnier in my head than it probably actually is. Blame the sickness. Oh, wait, a bamboo raft would be kind of cool. I do wish more of the boats had unique textures and models. Now the real question is, can you convince a cat to get inside of a boat? Also, apologies for the loud portal noises. The only mods that I found would completely turn off the sound, which obviously I don't want. Due to fear of getting a copyright strike, you spin my head right round. You're welcome. What if I lead you? Is that more effective? Clearly the red thread connecting the previous episode and this one is just me trying to deal with Minecraft cats. Let's go. Perfect. Wait. I may have an even better idea. You get to take a bath. You know what? It looks different from what I expected, but somehow that's even cuter. Come on, little boat. We're gonna turn you around. Oh, that's gonna take some time. Okay. How about this? We go in a big circle. Surely at some point you're going to turn. I am so stupid, I can just get in the boat and turn it. Okay, back we go. It's kind of cute. I like it. It also very much looks like this is just a cat rowing a boat, which is perfect. It's everything I ever wanted. Now, you may be wondering why we're in the bad place. And it's a very simple reason. I'd like to preface this by saying I didn't exactly intend to mine all of this ancient debris, but I also didn't exactly not intend to do it. See, I was mining netherrack first and foremost and thought it would be more cost efficient to do so on ancient debris Y levels in case something would come from it. And, well, safe to say, it did, which is quite nice. I never quite understood the need for netherite tools because I kind of don't think that the difference in speed is worth it. It seems very negligible, and so it just never felt like the effort to gather the upgrade materials was worth it. But I guess it is worth it when you're already building with netherrack and adjacent blocks, so if I'm already mining in the nether, I can just do it down here. I gotta ask, am I insane for kind of wanting to build trees using ancient debris? Because that seems like a really good trunk block. It has a really nice bark texture. If only a similar block was somewhere between the hue of basalt and ancient debris existed. Also, the main reason why I didn't exactly film myself doing it is because my version of just mining for a lot of netherrack very quickly looks bad to watch, which, fair warning, there's gonna be a lot of movement on the screen for a few seconds. I literally just do this. I put on a YouTube video, I watch something else, and I do this. Because again, the main goal was just getting netherrack. And then I would walk back and just check if I lost, and if I can't speak anymore. I would just walk back and check if I missed any ancient debris and stuff, and that's how I ended up with 59 ancient debris. You know, I really wish we had something along the lines of maybe a fallen villager, considering the nether has hell vibes and stuff, that you could bring over to make a more or less automatic nether wart farm, for example, and maybe even extend it over to forest fruit plants and stuff. Or the other option, what if we had sniffers sniff up stuff like ancient recipes that you can then hand over to your normal villagers, and then they know how to deal with these things. That would be really cool. And on the topic of ancient debris and basalt, just look at this texture. It's so bark-like, and it really reminds me of coniferous trees and the sort. Like, both of them look really good. I mean, to be fair, the ancient debris is very fleshy looking and at the same time very petrified looking, but so is the basalt. They make for really, really good tree trunks. I definitely want to mess around with these in the future. I came all the way out here close to the old mangrove forest to grab some pickles, and then there's an ocean monument. And if you look there, that's a mushroom island that I just randomly found when I was literally just coming to grab some pickles and some corals, perhaps. Actually crazy. I cannot wait to go explore it in the future. I don't believe I ever showed me getting the Allace, and there's honestly a very simple reason for it. It was the single most underwhelming experience of my life. I did do a flashback back then. I fear I have deleted it in the meantime, so let's just take a quick trip to the actual pillager outpost that we did raid. We're gonna go ahead and use X Portal for this because it is way closer to the pillager outpost than anything else is. Also, I miss my friend. I just realized I probably should have brought my horse. I would be a tad bit faster. Okay, let me find my bearing. I believe it should be that way. We'll see it soon enough. Ooh, wait, maybe if there are some cats, I can grab some more. Do they take cooked fish? I don't remember. We'll find out. Worst case scenario, I have an egg. These pigs are so orange, I keep thinking they're sentient pumpkins. Silly guys. On a complete side note, I need to figure out how to bring some of the Minecraft fog back. It's probably in the settings, isn't it? Because that just looks bad. I mean, I guess it's better the contrast isn't as stark, but at the same time, now it just looks washed out. Not a big fan. Not a fan. Me getting distracted by a field of flowers. Oh, I would never. Do not look at my inventory. I very much just realized that I unintentionally got inspired by these market stalls for my own market stalls. See, it fits a village. It fits the vibe. Do you still have beds? Because I would like to sleep. Thank you. It is a bit cursed to just be stealing a villager's bed, I'm not gonna lie. The new cave generation is, it's insane. I remember caves being like 2x2 blocks wide and tall. This is actually insane. It's the one block I wasn't able to collect in like episode 1 or 2. I am getting that block. Wait, do I have... No! I'm coming back. Yes, I want to use it as a building block. Okay, my toes are very strong. We are so close, I can feel it. Mainly because the world keeps disappearing. Ah, there it is. Ouch. Ouch. So essentially the reason why this was the single most underwhelming exploration moment of my life is because as we got to the outpost, a total of maybe 3 pillagers spawned. We barely got any loot, even for vanilla Minecraft levels of loot. We freed the 2 or 3 iron golems we had, and both collected 4 lays each. And honestly, that was it. It took around 15 minutes, and most of that was us being confused and hoping there would be more. So I couldn't really help but feel disappointed, which is totally on me for never really having interacted with this, now I think 7-year-old expansion to the game. But I did fully expect, I don't know, a pillager raid to spawn or something of the sort. Anything to happen. Because, you know, you see the pillager outpost and you expect something scary to happen because, ooh, the pillagers, and then 3 skeletons in a cave are actually entirely more intimidating of an encounter than this. But that's just how it is. And at the very least, in the end, we did get our 4 little blue fairy friends. And a nice view, to be honest. This may be a tad bit morbid, but since they do glow in the dark, and we do have a bit of a dark fantasy vibe going on in the village, I wonder if they would make for interesting streetlights. Think Baldur's Gate 3 Shadowlands, the fairy light lantern thingies. Oh my. I've never seen a zombie horse in survival before. That looks so cool, what the hell? I want it. How do I get it? I'm surrounded by mobs. I don't have anything to tame it, and I don't have a saddle. Okay. Do not kill my Honze. How about we find a nice little hole for you? Not you, sir. Do they still burn if they have horse armor on? Do I even have horse armor? I do not let my episodes get derailed. I would never. There is, in fact, no horse armor. Can you craft it? Maybe. Yes! Come on, love me. Please. Well, this is awkward. It worked! Let's go. Oh, I'm kind of scared. What if it doesn't work? What if my horse just burns? I mean, you seem fine. You seem very fine. Oh, that is... Well, I guess we have another very bad horse. Wow, you are actually slower than if I were to just run. Can you actually jump 2 blocks? Barely. Okay, well, it's a pretty horse, and that is about all it is. Oh well, time to go back home. Honestly, I don't know if the horse is gonna be happy about being tamed, because we do not have a stable just yet, so, you get to sit next to Goldship, and we need a name for you. My brain is empty. I'm gonna be naming you some other day. Okay, I don't remember what we wanted to do. Right, BLAs. Let's hop over to the creative world. I am rather sure that I have seen clips and videos of people pushing or putting mobs into glass blocks as a sort of cage. Now, the main question that remains for me personally is, do you push the mob into the glass block, or do you push the glass block into the mob? And I feel like the latter is the answer, because this does not seem to be working. Unless, of course, it's just not working in general, because I don't know if it was in Java or Bedrock. I don't even know if it works in this version of Java. We'll find out. Why I decided to use a sticky piston here remains a mystery to me as much as it does to you, by the way. But in the end, the experiment remains the same. Well, it seems to be in the glass block, and it has, of course, escaped. That is unfortunate. The main question that I have, is it because the surrounding blocks that I've used are glass blocks, and glass is sometimes a bit weird collision-wise in Minecraft? Or is it just straight up because you shouldn't logically be able to push a full block onto a mob? I guess the downside is we can't see anything in there. I'm gonna guess it doesn't work. So I've tried pretty much everything I could think of, including honey, but the allay keeps flying away at some point. Wait, is it actually working this time? Of course it's not. Perhaps, and hear me out on this one, surrounding the trapped allay glass block with glass panes is gonna help. If we look at it, it seems to be in there. Theoretically, it could escape. And if we quickly replace the piston... I mean, that would be a really cool lamp. It escaped. Right, on to the next experiment. I need Kronk to stop pulling the wrong levers. I guess we could just trap the allay in trapdoors, but what's the point? You barely see it. Well, this seems to be kind of working, but at the same time, I don't know if it's that pretty. It could kind of give the illusion, especially if I'm a bit smart about the way I hide the lead, of just like floating lamps, but you end up not seeing any of the allay from down here. Unfortunately, the allay lamp idea does not seem to work, which of course is a pity, especially for a YouTube video, because we've spent quite a few minutes on that and don't really have anything to show for it. But honestly, I don't regret it, because the lamp design itself is really nice. I quite like it. And even if the proportions don't quite fit the village, because the lamps are way too big compared to how big the houses themselves are, which honestly just means we have a lamp design that we will be able to use whenever we get to the bigger city in the mountain. So let's put a pin in that for now. What we can do to light this area up is to just, you know, there's light. We got it. Naturally, this is a more boring solution than having fancy floating fairy lights in the air, but at the same time, it might be the best choice simply due to the entire painting being too busy already. You are, in fact, still spinning my head right round. If only I could do that with the allay. Oh, well, it escaped. Never mind. So fun fact, this is more or less where the last episode was supposed to end, because we had a slight issue called fire. So in case anybody wonders why this part of the inn looks a tad bit different and why fire tick is perhaps now turned off, that is very much the reason why. And because I'm very good at being a YouTuber, I deleted all of the related clips 2 days ago. So unfortunately, you do not get to see how my inn is burning down. Just know that I was extremely panicked because I only noticed part of the roof missing, immediately went to grab the water bucket, of course. It took like 50 years to get the fire out because putting out fires in Minecraft is surprisingly difficult. And then I looked down and saw this entire part that I'm currently sitting on not exist anymore. Well, now that we've got that out of the way, it is time for a little side quest. And it's gonna start right here, looking at this huge wall above the door because it looks really empty, and I think what would fit best would be a map. Let's go ahead and see. Nice. We have our first little map, and it appears we're definitely gonna need another one, if not two. This area seems so big when I'm building it, and then looking at the map, it's actually such a tiny little space. And now let's go to the corner so we can get the fourth one. That way, at least it looks like a nice square and isn't just two maps on top of each other. And we got the final map. That just looks really empty. I would honestly like to only hang up the actual updating map, Well, it looks a little silly, but I kind of like it. I wonder how you can build a border around it. You know, my first idea was easy. Let's use a piston since they are half-half colored, but that wouldn't really fit. Another option would, of course, be trapdoors and shelves, but then we would have to have it protrude. So what about map arts? Whenever we actually do get to the end, we can just create a custom border on a transparent map. I love how out of all things, this is what makes me want to go to the end. I've let that one be one that constantly updates because it would be fun to just have a very accurate one. It would also be nice to have a history, a map archive, if you will. Okay, so I honestly don't quite know where to place the old one just yet. Mainly because I've not yet figured out what to do with these two spaces. So we're just gonna make use of this corner here and place it that way. So allegedly that one's locked and shouldn't get item updates. I'm sorry, I just noticed this in post. Why are there two? Herobrine is real, he's not been removed from the update. Oh, that's kind of really cool. I love seeing this. Wait, it's nice. It's so much smaller than it feels when you walk through it. I mean, it already feels really small when you walk through it, but wow. That's our little town. Well, we got another side quest done, and it's somehow actually related to the next one. I saw somebody in the comments mention that I frequently end videos mentioning one plan for the next episode and then ending up doing something entirely different. And as much as I've not noticed, I think it might be true. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned things that I've not yet actually done, even though they are very much planned to happen in the future. Like this inn still not being done. But it's fun to have it as a work in progress. Nevertheless, I think we might be able to have a fun little project tracking thing in the form of a quest board. The main issue is I don't know where to put it. This could be a good spot. I mean, it's planned to put a tree in here and some little benches and stuff. And it's a bit outside of the town, so I guess it could work. But it's also very random. Another very logical spot would be right here. Just very much at the entrance of the actual town. We have the bridge to the side, we have the marketplace there, and it's easy to reach, so it would make sense to have a quest board here. But I kind of like what I already built. I don't want to rip it out, so maybe not here. And where you're standing, right here, let me come closer, this is gonna be a tree. And there are already too many small buildings and structures using fences. I don't want to add another quest board here. So, you know, maybe we don't do it here. Another option, you know, would be somewhere here. It's the actual entrance to town. It's a little outside, so adventurers, people, etc. who are coming over here can just immediately see what kind of work they can get done and what jobs there are, what quests there are. So maybe something like here, or even somewhere over here and stuff. Or, again, right where we are standing. It seems a bit awkward because it's so far away and it would be a bit out of the ways for us and for the actual game and stuff. But it seems like it might be the most logical solution. Because quite frankly, walking through town, nothing feels like it would be appropriate for a quest board. I want these to be actual buildings. That's gonna be a well, and well, over here is pretty much another exit out of town. So maybe we're gonna stick to the entrance in the forest. We haven't really been there in a while, so let's go ahead and do that. Now to figure out where exactly we want it. This is the path, after all. This feels kind of nice, and that tree might honestly go just to offer a better view. And I did fully intend to have either a stables or a mill or something in that direction, because it's a logical continuation of the path. Otherwise, this would be a very awkward turn left in the navigation kind of moment. So how about we place the quest board either here or around here. Let's take that tree down first. What a view. It is really coming together. Well, the scaffolding might be destroying it a little bit at the moment, but we can ignore that. It... Okay, sir. It is coming together really nicely. Yeah, chopping those two trees was definitely a very good decision on my side. Happy about that one. Okay, we still haven't figured out where to put the quest board. It is a lot more difficult than I anticipated. Do I just plop it down here? I feel... You know what? I will plop it down in this spot. I think that is the best spot. That way we can preserve the road to the eventual sawmill. We can preserve all of these fallen logs, collected logs. We can preserve the view and not just plop it down here. And it would still make a lot of sense, because putting it back here just feels random. I'm gonna be honest, I'd prefer to put a stables or something here and instead have the quest board in front of the city exit / entrance. So let's enter a nice little time lapse and build it out. Now that we have a quest board, one singular question and issue remains. What content to fill it with? Thing is, if we were to look at my achievements tab, it's looking quite empty, especially when it comes to endgame things. Those have not really been taken into account on my side so far. So what do we actually put onto the quest board? I realized that I've taken my sweet time with both the Wither and the End Dragon, and honestly I have maybe 3 very simple reasons for it. One, because I've done both the Wither and End Dragon fights several times in my life, and they're just kind of boring at some point. And also getting the necessary materials is really tedious, especially the Wither heads. Why are they so difficult to get? The Wither is not that big of a deal anymore. And 3, I did initially want to wait to fight both of them with my friend, but I think that might be taking a long time since she's busy, and I'm getting to the point where I'd like to have access to a beacon at least, and maybe shulker boxes. So we will be adding those 2 options, the Wither and the End Dragon. Well, the end game, really. But I think those are gonna be things to take care of later on. What do we want to focus on for now? Well, we have the inn to actually finish. We have some terrain. We have the remaining buildings. Trees. What else? My brain is breaking at the moment due to the sickness, so we're just gonna fill this out whenever we can think of something. Now, I've seen a few people install resource packs to add animations and stuff, so obviously I went ahead and did the same thing, and I'll be so honest, the mobs look absolutely gorgeous and wonderful. I don't know if the parrot's gonna do it, but sometimes they just kind of like preen their wings and stuff. The wolves lie down, the cats stretch. It's really nice. I love how the LAs kind of change their face expressions and stuff. And let's just say that there's also an option to have moving eyes. And you may be wondering why I've not shown these to you just yet. So I may have miscounted the pixels. Instead of an elephant in the room, there's an exclamation point in the room. 2 of them to be exact. I logged on to test it and I kind of... Part of me, obviously I am gonna change it. But there's something to be said about having exclamation points for eyes. It's kind of hilarious. I've noticed that I tend to build in a rather unorganized manner, and I frequently revisit builds that I've already technically finished, which is also why things tend to change without me necessarily putting it on camera. For example, I kept looking at the other buildings, and pretty much all of them have a darker colored trim on their roofs, except for this little tax house thing situation. So how about I go ahead and maybe use some dark oak trapdoors? They look very chocolate bar-like, but they are the most, I guess, dark color I could use in trapdoor form. Okay, now how does this look, especially from the ground? Yeah, I'm not mad about it, honestly. What happens frequently is that I get an idea that I want to introduce, like, for example, getting more of the packed mud in and around this area, and then I never quite know how to include that in a video, so I don't. So if you ever see random changes popping up, that's why. Also, just in case somebody is wondering why I never mentioned the nether fortress that we found whenever we built our own nether portal, why I never mentioned it again. Well, you see, I unfortunately realized that it is exactly the same nether fortress that Egg and I saw whenever we went to the Bastion. As in, it has very much already been raided. Or at least, I think so, considering it seems to be raided for the most part. We do have a blaze spawner. I did see that, which is a very good thing for whenever we do wish to explore the actual end. Oh, well, that was nice. I did not expect that to happen, but I'll take it. Wither skeletons are very much a bow and arrow type of situation. I love how I say that, and then I walk down here as if I'm tempting fate. I did steal some nether wart from Egg, because I wasn't sure if this nether fortress had some. Oh, that looks so cool. That's actually such a nice shade, especially with the red. On the topic of shades, I did install a resource pack that would up the saturation a little bit, just because maybe it is my own screen, maybe it's something else, but the game felt a bit desaturated lately. And personally, I do love it a lot, but let me know what you think. I'm also very much realizing that there's not a lot to explore to this nether fortress. It feels rather tiny. It also appears that I was quite lucky with that one blaze that we killed. Also, I do not actually intend to die, so let's leave. I do love how I said I was gonna leave and then immediately walked down here and got withered. There's no way I'm gonna be lucky enough to find a wither skull, am I? I'm realizing I don't even know what you do with magma cream. It looks tasty. It looks like ice cream. It looks like a treat. Oh, it goes even further down? Wait, that's kind of crazy. Now that's terrifying. Okay, how about we actually go back? That seems safer, right? Right? And for my last trick, I bid you all goodbye. And hey, if you're wondering about that new color of clothing that I'm repping over here, tune in to the next episode.